Welcome back to our series on the NFL's most disappointing teams of the Super Bowl era. In our last video, we took a look at the 2005 Philadelphia Eagles, who had a lot of problems that didn't have much to do with their on-field product. Well, those don't compare to what was faced by our next team that we will get to momentarily. But first, let's talk about C-score, a metric created by this channel in order to properly evaluate each and every team from the Super Bowl era instead of just looking at its record. For a deeper explanation about how C-score works, be sure to check out the description of this video. There's only one way a team can make it onto this list. First, they put up a season with a positive C-score. They then follow that up with an even higher C-score that must surpass 15. Finally, in Season 3, they drop into the negatives, with this one serving as the disappointment. The larger the drop from Season 2 to Season 3, the higher that disappointment will rank. All good things must come to an end, and that end officially arrived for the New England Patriots in 2020, the NFL's worst season since World War II. As mentioned in our prior video, this team was almost exempted from this list. Instead, they occupy the number 19 spot. Thank you for joining us today. Let's dig up this mess. 2018 was your standard New England Patriots season. Go 11-5, but still win the laughably easy AFC East, play a laughably easy schedule, and still land a first-round bye in the playoffs. Ho-hum, a C-score of 17.467. Oh, but that's not it. How about their usual playoff blessings? They usually got a walkover in the divisional round, but the Chargers weren't a bad team at all. They did get to avoid a hard-driving Ravens team whose offense was completely reinvented with the insertion of a rookie quarterback by the name of Lamar Jackson. That would have been interesting to watch. Then, in the AFC Championship, the Kansas City Chiefs seemingly won the game on a Charvarius Ward interception with just a minute left to go. But Dee Ford, on the other side of the play and providing exactly zero impact, was lined up in the neutral zone. Like the Tuck rule, it was by the letter of the law the right call. But who else does that happen for other than the Patriots? New England won and went to the Super Bowl against the Rams, who themselves definitely did not deserve to be there. They averaged 33 points per game in the regular season, but the Pats defense, yes, they do have a defense, sliced that number down by more than 90%. And New England had just won the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time with the lowest number of points scored by the winning team. They didn't always have runs like this, 2004 immediately comes to mind, but it was better than a 50-50 proposition. And of course, the silly talking heads that represent the NFL intelligentsia laid all the credit at the feet of just one person. The Pats did not win the Super Bowl in 2019. In fact, they didn't win a single playoff game. But they were a better team. They still played the easiest schedule in the league, tied for the easiest schedule in the league, but their overall performance was better, good for a C-score of 24.619. In fact, early on in the season, there was talk that this team could match the undefeated record of the 2017. I mean, what else could be expected after smashing up a bunch of bad teams outside of a solid victory over the Bills and a dominant win over the eventual 8-8 Steelers? Then we got that game we didn't get in the previous season's playoffs, and the Ravens knocked them around pretty good. Still, the Pats won their division at 12-4, even though they lost their last game of the season, at home, against the lowly Miami Dolphins. That did cost them the first round bye that must have felt like their birthright at that point. And the only time the Patriots have ever advanced to the Super Bowl without a first round bye was all the way back in 1985. We all know how that Super Bowl turned out. Alas, New England hosted the bottom-seeded Titans and found themselves out of the playoffs in the blink of an eye. This was indeed the end of the line. The Patriots sold out over the past few seasons, and it worked. This quote from Bill Belichick says it all. We sold out and won 3 Super Bowls, played in a 4th, and played in an AFC Championship game. The future was sacrificed for the present, and with the salary cap bill due, it went from all hands on deck to abandon ship really quickly. And with the guy who takes the snap from the center not wanting anything to do with a team like that, he was on the first lifeboat he could find. He wasn't the only one, of course, but remember, the Patriots have only ever had one player on their roster with a bunch of other guys just making up the scenery. There was no easier prediction in the world than that the Patriots would struggle in 2020, but they still had no idea what lay ahead of them. The storm was coming, and it was coming hard. Let's jump right in. Here are the raw numbers for the 2020 New England Patriots. They went 7-9. They got outscored by 27 points. That was mostly on their lack of scoring, finishing 27th in that department. The defense held up pretty darned well, finishing 7th in points allowed. And now, all of a sudden, their schedule was much more difficult, tied for 10th hardest in the league, and the hardest for the Patriots since 2014. Their C-score sits at -3.199. The simple, and I do mean simple, answer to why the Patriots fell off in 2020 is that Tom Brady left the team. We know why he left though. The team was done for. The salary cap wasn't stretching any further, and he can only thrive when he has an excellent team around him. But of course, because we're YouTube's most intelligent audience, we know there is much more to the story. The 2020 season was an absolute mess. The cause of this wasn't the NFL's fault, of course, and they deserve some credit for getting every scheduled game onto the field. But they definitely played favorites with how all that turned out. Some teams had missing players and got their games postponed. Others did not and had to play with entire position groups unavailable. All that over nothing, of course, but we're not going to dive any further into that. No one had it worse than New England. Some of this will sound familiar if you've watched my Tom Brady video, but here are the highlights. The 2020 NFL season allowed for player opt-outs. 67 such opt-outs were taken, 8 of them from the Patriots. The other 31 teams averaged 1.8 opt-outs each. Despite representing 3.1% of the league, the Patriots represented almost 12% of the opt-outs. Then there's the salary cap. For the season, the Patriots used less than half of their cap for the active roster, due to a lot of dead money, most of it Brady's, even though he left on his own accord and wasn't a cap casualty in the traditional sense, and also due to, all the other crap. Only the 49ers had it worse than the Patriots this season in adjusted games lost as calculated by Football Outsiders, and the Niners were basically an ambulance ward this season. And yes, they downgraded the quarterback position because there was no way to improve it. Cam Newton, at least the 2020 version, was probably the league's worst starting QB. But if Brady remained, it wouldn't have been a whole lot better. And to top it off, the Pats, like many other teams, were stripped of their practices. But this meant so much more because Bill Belichick is the best game planner in NFL history, and practice is where game planning matters the most. All this adds up to a 2-14 team at best, but they still pulled out a 7-9 record and were right back to top-level football in 2021. This was the best coaching job of Bill Belichick's career. No other coach would have guided this mess to the edge of 500. You can hopefully see why this team was under consideration for an exemption from this list. But at the end of the day, we gotta go by the numbers. This was the highly abridged version. If you want more, check out the Tom Brady video. Link is in the description. If you didn't know, it's pretty long, but might I say, it's also highly entertaining. Let's go ahead and place the 2020 Patriots on this list, just about 1/5 of a point ahead of the 05 Eagles at negative 27.818. We'll be getting our third franchise making a repeat appearance for our next entry. Who do you think that will be? Make sure to join us next time to find out. Thank you for getting through that miniaturized rant. By holding out this long, I can only assume you liked the video. So smash that thumbs up button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and ding that notification bell. It's just like milk, it does a body good. We haven't mentioned him by name yet, but the thumbnail photo for this video is the uncrowned MVP of Super Bowl 51, Dante Hightower. He was one of the 8 Patriots who opted out this season and was by far the one they missed the most. Sitting out cost him dearly as he only played one more season, his career ending at just 31 years old. Not saying he was going to the Hall of Fame or anything, but he remains a microcosm of what went wrong for the Patriots in 2020. Let me know what you think about all of this. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you think this is just a laundry list of excuses that don't mean anything in the long term? Do you think the Pats go undefeated and win the Super Bowl if Brady stays? Do you think I'm a madman? Well, I am a madman, but that's beside the point. Sound off on these topics or anything else you may have on your mind down in the comments section below. Thank you once again for joining us today, and until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.